Today, I wanted to talk about console gaming. And is it really dying? Because you see, a recent report came out saying that hardware sales for consoles reached an all time low for revenue. In fact, it hasn't been this low since November 2005, exactly 20 years ago. And also, physical game sales have also hit an all time low since it began being tracked in 1995. So, with these numbers being pretty much as low as it's ever been in the gaming space, what is the cause? Well, I think it's multiple reasons why you're seeing such a drop in sales. One reason being is digital marketplaces are becoming the new norm, and it's much easier to buy a game or even hardware online without having to leave the comfort of your own home. And also, the digital storefronts always having sales on games, so it's easier to see how much you're saving on a game rather than going to your local game store and taking a chance that it's not going to be on sale and having to pay full price for a physical copy. Another thing being the price itself. To put it plain and simple, everything costs, well, way too much. From the actual hardware itself to the physical game costing you more, and it all adds up way too quickly. There simply isn't a budget option anymore, or a really good budget option for gaming. Like how when I grew up, there was the PS2 and the Xbox 360. Both were great budget options for gaming, where the console itself was one set price with no different type of versions or storage versions being released, and the games on it being, well, one set price as well. No DLC, no battle passes, or any seasons involved in the game. You just paid upfront for the price of the game, or even actually rented the game, because you could still rent games at the time, and played that for the weekend, and that was it. Also, to add to this factor, every price is pretty much still going up, and not just in the gaming world. With everything costing so much and with wages barely increasing, more people are opting to pay for the actual necessities in life rather than spending it on luxuries. Meaning that people in general have less money to spend on other things rather than the basic needs for human survival. And if you do have money to spend on other things, well, the prices are going up. And if you are someone that has the cash to spend, you're either waiting on a new system because these systems consoles have been out for so long, so you're just waiting on the next gen console cycle to come about, or if you're trying to get into the to PC gaming, it is even worse because you're looking at so many prices increases. So if you're looking to even upgrade your rig or get an entirely new rig at the moment, it's really not a great time for that either, because VRAM prices have been skyrocketing up to 200% and over the last month. Brand new GPUs are being costly, just so costly that people are really going back to series to get those, and those prices are going up because that's what's in demand right now. Not the latest GPU that's priced astronomically, it's the older GPUs, and those are still being priced pretty heavily because, like I said, it's in demand. So no matter where you look, gaming has become so costly, which, everything looks like nothing's going to drop soon, especially those PC components, because there's no end in sight on when are they going to be dropping in price. So what are gamers supposed to do? Well, there isn't really any answer, or any sure shot answer to be exact. We just have to see and wait with bated breath on how the prices are going to be in the coming years. Will they actually start to go down due to the lack of demand for physical hardware and physical media? Or will they just stay the same and continue to go up because due to overpriced inflation, so to say? It does seem like we are headed towards another video game crash because, due to the inflated prices and the lack of real demand for any of these hardware or console games. Rather, the only demand is still with the PC components like VRAM and the GPUs that I mentioned. Because the reason why video games actually crashed before in the 80s was due to, well, oversaturation in low quality games and more people were trying to turn away from consoles and looking towards PC gaming as well. Back then, PCs, or personalized computers, as what they were called, or home computers, I think they were called actually, were more affordable than it is even now. Because now it takes a lot of money to make a PC from the ground up. Even if you're buying secondhand parts at second rates, it's still more costly than it was like 5 years ago during the pandemic age, or even before that in like 2017, 2018, 2019. PC gaming was still affordable to get into, where it didn't really cost you an arm and a leg to get all the components that you wanted. It actually was a little bit safer and, well, it was much more manageable. But now it really does look like we're heading towards a second crash, because the reason why the video games crashed in the first place was, like I said, due to oversaturation in low quality games, more people turning away from consoles and looking towards making PCs, and economic recessions that affected consumer spending. Because there were such low quality games out at the time in the 80s, nobody really wanted to go out and spend all that money on video games. People rather had just done something else. And it really is an eerie, similar situation that we're looking at right now, because there's an economic downturn and people are spending less on games, for one, and two, gaming prices are going up without the quality going up as well. So there's no reason to justify the price increase, because the quality of most AAA games have not gone up. In fact, they've gone down. And you look at games, like I said, Expedition 33, you look at games that are like Hollow Knight Silksong, and all those games, those are the games that sell well because they are not priced at $70 and up. They're actually priced reasonably, and you get an upfront price like it used to be back then. So all these low quality games coming out now is really affecting it, and nobody wants to pay full price for games that they know they're not going to enjoy, or games that they have to put even more money into, because that's just the way gaming wants you to think it is, when really, in all reality, the indie scene has never been stronger. The AA space has never been stronger, because they actually price things at what they're actually valued rather than what the shareholders say they should be valued at. And that's the big thing. And that's why I think we are really heading towards a second video game crash, because all the stars are lining up for this to happen again, like it did in the 80s. And that's why it happened in the 80s, because no one was buying games. Economic downturn affected people and all they bought, and like anything they bought. And people didn't want to buy consoles no more. People wanted to have a home computer, and that is the exact thing we're looking at now. The only difference being is that even when you look at a PC right now, the prices are still astronomically high and the demand is high for them, so people are justifying the price increase because they're still out buying stuff. Like the VRAM, for example. People are still buying VRAM even though it's up at 200% of what it was just a year ago. It really does look like that's where we're heading. We're heading towards another crash of video games, and another crash of console gaming as well, because no one's really buying hardware, no one's really buying physical copies, and if the way things keep looking, if it keeps looking the same, then we're not going to see anything different. If prices are going to stay the same or even go up, if, really no economic, downturn doesn't start turning itself around and actually working out, and, prices go down on other things while wages go up a little bit, we're still going to see the same thing, and we're still probably going to see these numbers go even lower for hardware sales, for physical game sales, and things like that, because there is no reason to actually go and spend an arm and a leg right now on video games, because there's no value to them. There's nothing, everyone wants to charge you so much for something so little, where we already had a good budget option. Consoles were already a good budget option, but now with everything being so pricey, there's literally no good budget option for gaming. You either have to just, bear down and get the price, get the PS5 because, that's what you like Sony hardware, or you just really save up and get yourself a PC, which, like I said, I wouldn't even recommend right now because the component parts are so much right now that even if you're going 2 series back, you're still going to pay so much for that component. And it's really just a very bleak time in gaming, if I would say it right now. And what's happening right now in the gaming space is just very, well, dark to say the least. Like, I don't really like to talk about this stuff. I don't like to be the bearer of bad news or bring bad news to anybody, but it's just the way that things are going and the way that things are. It's just like, I've never seen anything like it, and I'm actually privileged to actually have, my own house, to actually have, financial stability where I could actually pay for some of these things, and I'm grateful for it. But just because I'm not going through it doesn't mean 1,000 other people aren't either. A lot of people are going through this same exact motion, and with everything being so bleak and bland and dark, that the need for escapism is really at all-time high. And when you can't even escape, to video games anymore because the prices are just fucking crazy, then what are you gonna do? And that's what I just want to see. I would love to see if gaming prices start to go down. If stuff starts to go down, I would be more than happy to see that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, not to leave it on a dark note, but it's really a bad time to get into the gaming space right now. And if you already have a PC, then I would just say wait on it. Don't upgrade it. Just deal what you have to do. I mean, to get by. I mean, really, gaming is in a tough spot right now. It hasn't been like this in a long time. In the early 2000s and even in the 2010s, gaming was pretty relatively cheap to what we have to do now. And even all the AAA games were cheap in its own right. So it's just really, really sucks to see. But like I said, I'm not going to leave it on a down note. Maybe prices will get lower. I mean, if there's no demand for prices, they have to get lower because they can't really keep them at the same thing. And let's just hope that whenever either the Steam machine or whatever next-gen console may come out, let's hopefully that it's not priced as heavy or over $1,000, which at this point doesn't seem like it will be less than that, which is once again unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Gaming's in a rough spot right now, really rough, but at least the AA studios and indie titles are where you should be looking, because that's where you get your bang for your buck. And that is it for me today. I mean, like I said, a little bit more of a serious topic. I usually do, gaming topics around here, but a little bit more serious. And yeah, just rough right now in the gaming space. But that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.